One last point before we take our first break. Here's Urban Meyer. The coaching staff was announced today for the Jacksonville Jaguars. An interesting hire for director of sports performance, a guy named Chris Doyle, who's got a history that maybe would make him not an ideal candidate to have that job. Here's Meyer on talking about the decision to bring in Chris Doyle.
Yeah, I've known Chris for close to 20 years. Our relationship goes back to when I was at Utah, and he was the #1 strength coach. And really, he was doing sports performance before sports performance became a high priority in college sports. And so I've known him. I've studied him. We've had a relationship. I vetted him thoroughly.
He had no reservations hiring him based on the allegations and what happened at Iowa, and why hire him instead of going in a different direction?
Oh, sure. I vet everyone on our staff, and like I said, the relationship goes back close to 20 years, and a lot of hard questions asked, a lot of vetting involved, and with all our staff. But we did a very good job vetting that one.
So you're confident there's not going to be any issues?
Yeah, there won't.
Going forward?
They're very confident.
Did you have to get Shad's permission to hire him, Chris Doyle?
Shad was involved with our high-end hires, and he was involved.
And are you at all concerned that him being in the building will impact your ability to attract free agents?
If I was, I wouldn't have hired him. Once again, I'll explain that if that becomes a question. The one thing I'm very confident is that I would imagine within a year or two we'll have the best sports performance team in the National Football League.
Doyle exited the University of Iowa football program last year amid allegations of some racially charged comments and just the kind of old school football player abuse that coaches engage in when they yell and scream and they rant and rave. And the game has evolved past that in many respects. And Charean, I understand that, NFL head coaches are looking for people they can trust. That's one of the reasons why they hire their kids, because if you can't trust your kids, who the hell can you trust? There's many reasons beyond that why they look to hire their own children, but it's about who you can trust, who is with you, who will be your eyes and ears within the ranks of the coaches. And Doyle will be undoubtedly extremely grateful to and loyal to Urban Meyer. Doesn't make it right, and it doesn't set the right framework, I think. This is where it's delicate because Meyer's had a history of some questionable characters around him, and here he is bringing in a guy that's got a recently questionable background when there are plenty of other people who could do the job that Chris Doyle's been hired to do.
Yeah, by all accounts, Mike, he's very good at his job, which is why they hired him. But there's a reason that he had a $1.1 million separation agreement with Iowa after 20 years there. And, the Jaguars should have known what they were getting when they hired Urban Meyer, because he had Zach Smith on his staff for a long time, and we know how that played out. The Jaguars knew what they were getting when they hired Urban Meyer, and this is part of who Urban Meyer is and what he does. So this is what they bought into, and they're going to let him run the show. It's obvious he's in charge, Mike, in Jacksonville.
There was an external review of the Iowa program which concluded that a small group of coaches demeaned players and the program's rules perpetuated racial or cultural biases and diminished the value of cultural diversity. Doyle defended himself by saying, "I do not make racist comments and I don't tolerate people that do." But still, as you mentioned, there was that buyout. The relationship ended in the aftermath of this investigation, and Urban Meyer has plenty of equity as he enters the NFL, especially in Jacksonville. He may have used up a little bit of it today, and there definitely will be plenty of eyes and ears on Chris Doyle. And here's the reality. You got a certain amount of power and control over college football players that you don't have over pro players. And if he approaches the line with an NFL player, he's going to get a far different reaction than he ever would have gotten at Iowa.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.